Hi everyone. Today is Monday, May 4th, 2026. I'm Crystal Dawn Hill, and I am here to briefly explain something that, in a response to something someone has said recently. So their comment was that I see things differently than other people. And how I interpret that is going by the actual definition of the word different. How I see that is you see one thing and I see something else. So what I'm here to explain today is that is not the case with me. I don't see things differently than other people. I see them more deeply. So I'm going to use an example as a metaphor of something that took place recently in my hometown. Now, before I use this as an example, I want to clarify that I'm not claiming that this is actual. I'm claiming that if it were true, it would be an example of me seeing this situation more deeply rather than differently. So the example is that we had a visit by the British king and queen, King Charles and Queen Camilla, and I almost said Prince Charles, because his mother has been on my mind a lot too since all this took place. Anyway, so most people saw what happened. They saw the announcement on Facebook or on the news. They saw all the people gathering. They saw tight security. They saw the motorcade come down the avenue and then onto the street. And they saw the vehicle carrying the king and queen stop at the gazebo. They saw the king and queen get out. They saw them mingle. They saw them waving at the crowds and visiting with the crowds. And then after the whole event was over, they got in their vehicle and they left town. I saw that too. I didn't see something different. I saw all of that happen. Additionally, and this is the part that I'm saying isn't actually real, I'm just using this as metaphor. Additionally, I saw the underlying possible reasons that facilitated this whole thing to come about. If I had seen it differently than other people, then I could have seen him standing on the gazebo and giving a speech to the crowd. I could have seen them go all the way up Main Street and all the way back, greeting every single person the whole way. I didn't see that. I could only see what was within the video footage because I wasn't there. I only watched it on video, on a live news broadcast. So that's just an example of what I mean when I say I don't see things differently. I see them more deeply. And the person said, that's how I see it. Okay, then that person saw it differently, not me, because I'm seeing what everybody else is seeing. And I'm telling you how I'm perceiving things. So if you are going to tell me how I see something, then it's your perception that's in question, not mine, because another person cannot tell someone how things look through their eyes. And if you're going to dispute someone who can give you a logical, valid explanation with examples to substantiate what they're saying, and you still refuse to accept that, even though it's the account that they're giving you is from their own perspective, you're basically saying to that person, you don't have the ability to know what you're looking at through your own eyes. And that gives me an unsettled feeling, because if someone told me I looked out at the ocean and saw a beautiful sunrise, and then someone came along and said, no, that isn't what you saw. It's really bizarre to me that someone would say that. So I thought of this example to use to kind of illustrate how I see things the same as other people. I just look into those things or scenarios or circumstances or phenomena more deeply. And the way that I do that, and maybe this is more important than actually what I've said so far, the way that I do that is by looking more deeply within myself. Now, the person who said this, I can understand why they wouldn't want to go more deeply within themselves. And I'm not going to elaborate on the reasons why, but I can understand why they would only see things so deep. But I'm not going to discount that for them and tell them what they should or shouldn't do or how they should or shouldn't feel. I'm only going to explain what is happening inside of me. And I think if that person is the general example of humanity, that could be a big contribution to the overall collective distortion that appears to be happening in the world. And this was going to be a really short video, but I'm going to say a little bit more about this because it's coming to me and I feel like it's important. For a long time, I've understood that I'm in a higher frequency than most people around me. And that isn't to say that there's anything about me that's better. It's just that I've worked harder to be able to navigate life in a way that gives me peace and a sense of groundedness and belonging and safety. And in so doing, I've discovered so much. And yes, it's because of my spirituality and my faith and my devotion and my obedience to God, to my higher power, to that which I sense around me 24/7, 365. And that essence, that beingness that is God, is not off in the distance and just observing us. It is interacting with us. He is interacting with us as we interact with him. He reciprocates. He is a reflection of everything that we think, feel, do, say, and experience. And that's why we must look deep within in order to be able to experience life more deeply. Because however deeply we're willing to go within ourselves is how deeply we're going to be able to experience life. And also that goes for positive, negative, pleasant, unpleasant, etc. So that's been my experience. And that isn't different than other people. It's just more. It's more it's more extensive. It's more informative. And it's more of everything. Just to make it simple, it's more of everything. And it's because I give more. I put more out. I put out more energy to the world, into the world, onto the world, unto the world. um, and that's because of my dynamic in my relationship with God. Because the more that I do to develop and to deepen my relationship with Him, the more I receive back. And the more I receive from Him, the more I'm able to give. Because what He gives us is magnified by 10 or 100 or even 1,000 times more than what we in and of ourselves can give as humans. And I'm not saying this to boast or to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm just saying humbly and matter-of-factly that, I have people that seem like they don't understand how I can do what I do. They don't understand how I can be the person that I can be given my unfortunate circumstances. They give me feelings like they don't understand where my words come from and how I'm able to articulate things the way I do. And it isn't me. I'm just a little simple country hometown girl who happens to love God and to open herself up and be a conduit for His love and His essence and His provision and everything else that He gives us. And every single human being in this entire creation has that same ability. And just as I said that, a beautiful cool breeze blew through my window. It started at my right knee and is working its way across my lap, and it's giving me cold chills, but not the kind of cold chills that you get when you're cold. The kind of cold chills that you get internally when you know that what you're saying is God's truth and not just your own truth. And that only comes from the Holy Spirit. And God sends us His Spirit and assures us and confirms for us when we're speaking on His behalf and when we're glorifying Him. So this started out to be a simple message and a simple response to my friend who made the statement that I see things differently than others. And it turned out to be a beautiful, exemplary account of it not being the case, but rather that I experience life more deeply, and therefore I'm able to express that out into the world. So thank you all so very much for following along my journey. All the best to you along your journey as well. And for those who've been watching my videos where I'm sitting at my desk and this beautiful painting is behind me, I'll share that with you just momentarily. This is a painting that was gifted to me many years ago by a painter across the Atlantic. And when she gifted me with this painting, well, actually, when she created the painting, she did so with twin flame energy infused in it. And she sent it to me through the postal mail with the intention that when I received it, it would facilitate bringing me my own divine masculine into my life. And that was like 15 or 20 years ago. And when I moved here and I never displayed the painting the whole time that I've owned my home and moved to the South and came back. It always stayed in the cylinder and I never took it out and hung it. And when I moved here to the apartment, and I shortly thereafter, I met my divine masculine, I discovered the magic in this painting. And the magic is that the woman who gifted me with the painting lived and was from the same country as my divine masculine. So the magic that it brought about in my life was the fact that she was near him and was actually picking up on his energy and was able to know intuitively to send me this painting. And I believe that it sent some of his energy with it, that he would one day, when he was ready, he would come looking for that piece of his energy that had been sent to me. And he found it. He found me, and we met. And I never got, I don't know what's going on with him right now. And I pray that I pray that he's all right and that one day he gets back in touch. But I never, the whole time we were in communication, I never got a chance to tell him about this painting. But I did tell the artist, and I'm not sure that she understood exactly where I was going with it. But anyway, that's a little short version of that story. And I do tell the longer version on a video series that I did specifically about this painting and how it all unfolded. But anyway, I know that a lot of people probably are drawn to this painting, even though it's abstract and it doesn't really have an object in it. There is a lot of twin flame energy infused in it. So people who view it will be able, if they're on the twin flame journey or they're slated for the twin flame journey, they're going to feel that, and it's going to help to activate or catalyze them along their journey. So anyway, that's all I wanted to share today. Thank you all so very much for following along. All the best to you on your journey as well, and have a wonderful day.